Hello everybody, it's me, your friendly neighborhood capitalist, and it's time for The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. But before we get to that, I must tell you
the story thus far.
Alright, so check this out. Once upon a time, these three goddesses created the world and stuff. Their names were Lanayru, Din, and Faror. I don't know, one of those pronunciations. But anyway, they also created the Triforce when they created the world. And they left the Triforce in the goddess Hylia's care. So one day, Demon King Demise over here wants that power since it can grant anyone's greatest wish. So there was a big war with the demon forces and the forces of Hylia just clashing over the Triforce. Oh, and FYI, the forces of Hylia had, some humans, some random creatures, and even freaking dragons. Yet, even with freaking dragons, things were looking bleak for Hylia's forces, so she gathered all the humans to a patch of land and sent it up into the sky to protect them. Don't know why she only chose to protect the humans though. I mean, she had all those other creatures helping out. It's kind of messed up, yo. Anyway, after that bit of land was shot up, Hylia and the remaining forces were able to fight back the demon forces after many long years of war, and Demise was sealed away. Not killed. That's important. Knowing that she herself was too weak to defeat him and that the seal could give way at any moment, she hatched a little plan. Fast forward to hundreds of years later, the land in the sky became known as Skyloft, bits and pieces broke off to become other islands in the sky, and the people there grew while passing down the stories of generations past, including the land beneath the clouds and the Great War. Anyway, on Skyloft, there's this knight academy that has a graduation exam every year to crown new knights in the name of Hylia. Alright, well, not so much an exam, just racing giant birds to grab a little statue. Yeah. So, the guy that passes this graduation this year is Link, and he gets to celebrate this by taking part in a very special ceremony with Zelda. Ain't she adorable? After said celebration, they decide to relax with some alone time, until a tornado comes up from the clouds and snatches Zelda down to the surface. Damn, nature, you scary. Anyway, that night, Link meets a girl. Well, more like a messenger of the goddess taking on the form of a spirit that resides in the sword used by one of the legendary soldiers of the goddess. Yeah, just an average evening in Skyloft. Anyway, this sword spirit is Fee, and the sword she resides in, that was bestowed to Link, is called the Goddess Sword, and she guides Link on an adventure to the surface to track down Zelda. Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, Zelda meets this old woman, who instructs her to go from temple to temple on the surface, bathe in each sacred spring that's at each temple, and offer prayers to the goddess. At one point, she gets captured by demonic forces led by this sexy beast, Girahim. Seriously, look at him, he's just so sexy. Anyway, Girahim is on a quest to resurrect Demise, and he requires Zelda to do so. However, Impa thwarts him and escorts Zelda to the remaining temples. Gary ends up redirecting his efforts to hinder Link's chase and to hopefully get himself back on Zelda's trail. Fast forward to this place called the Earth Temple where everyone meets up. Girahim launches an attack, Impa and Zelda escape to pass through a gate of time, and Link is instructed to find the remaining gate of time to meet up with them. But first, Link must travel around tempering the Goddess Sword in the 3 sacred flames scattered across the land. While this is going on, Link has to fight back this demon called the Imprisoned a few times back into a seal that he's contained in. Keep the Imprisoned in mind. He becomes important later on. Once the Goddess Sword was tempered in the final flame, it became the Master Sword. Link is able to activate the second gate of time, and he travels to the past to reunite with Zelda. This is when shit gets real. Zelda reveals that the goddess Hylia used her body as a vessel to guide Link on her ulterior motive, to stop Demise. She also reveals that the Imprisoned is, in fact, no BS, no fooling, Demise himself. Dun dun dun! Anyway, she then unlocks the true potential of the Master Sword and urges Link to find the Triforce, which holds the power to truly defeat Demise. After all this, Zelda tells Link that she must stay in the past to make sure Demise does not escape his prison, and in a scene that launches a full-on assault on the fields, Link promises to wake her up in the present day once Demise has been destroyed. So, to find the Triforce, Link needs the Song of the Heroes, and this giant bird whale thingy Levias holds the key to using the song. So after getting rid of a parasite that controlled him, just roll with it, Levias tells Link that parts of the song has been divided among himself and the 3 dragons of the land. Link must learn the different parts of the song and return to Levias for an epic jam session. To make a long fetch quest, I mean story short, Link gets his dolphin on to swim through a flooded Farron Woods to get the first part from the water dragon, he gets his Solid Snake tactical espionage on in Eldine Volcano to get the second part from the fire dragon, and he gets his minecart guardian veterinarian gardener thingy on in Lanayru Desert to get the third part from the thunder dragon. Now with all the parts of the song, Link and Levias have a musical performance that would bring every single American Idol winner to shame, and the location of the Triforce is revealed. Hint hint, it was in Skyloft all along. So now you see why the goddess shot Skyloft into the sky, not only to protect the humans but also to protect the Triforce. You see what they did there? Alright. After making his way through Sky Keep in Skyloft, Link finds the Triforce and wishes for Demise's defeat. Part of Skyloft then proceeds to drop from the sky, landing directly on the imprisoned's prison. Thus killing Demise in the present time. Killing Demise? Sounds like an oxymoron. Anyway, Link returns to the temple, wakes up Zelda, and everyone lives happily ever after! Until Girahim shows up, beats the shit out of everyone, and takes Zelda back to the past to use her as a human sacrifice to reawaken Demise in that time period, since he's still alive in that time period. Well damn. Link follows them into the past, battles a metric shit ton of enemies, and has a final showdown with Girahim. Unfortunately, enough time was bought to reawaken Demise, who is ready to just unleash all types of hell on the world. Link mans the F up and has an epic battle with Demise. Link ultimately defeats him. But Demise still has some final words. He promises that no matter what, his hatred for the goddess will be reincarnated in generations to come to forever torment those that carry the spirits of the goddess and the hero of time. With that, Demise dies. That also sounds a bit like an oxymoron. And he has been successfully defeated in both eras. Zelda's spirit has been restored, and Link and Zelda return to the present time. In more scenes that tug at the old feels, we say goodbye to Impa, who was also that old woman in the present time. Man, she's old as hell! Anyway, we also say goodbye to Fi, and goodbye to the Master Sword, which is sealed away in the temple, away from those who would use it for harm, until the time comes to use it again to stop the legacy of Demise. All's well that ends well. The people of Skyloft now freely come and go from Skyloft to the surface, and Link and Zelda decide to stay down there and live their lives. I'd like to think they got married and stuff. I mean, after all the shit Link went through in this game, he deserves a little rest with that freaking adorable goddess vessel. I'm just saying. Afterwards, that sacred land soon became known as Hyrule, and many years of peace soon followed. However, sometime down the road, give or take a few hundred years, chaos engulfed the land again. So to protect the Triforce and the Master Sword, some guy by the name of Lanayru, who just so happened to be a Sage of Light, stashed both the Triforce and the Master Sword in the Sacred Realm and built the Temple of Time, which served as the only way to enter that realm. He became the self-appointed guardian for the temple and the power that lay within. Keep this in mind, this will become important later on. And by later on, I mean a few games from now. Also around this time, the actual Kingdom of Hyrule was formed, and the royal family consisted of descendants of the reincarnated goddess. Many members of the royal family had special powers that were passed down from generation to generation, along with the name of Zelda for all princesses born down the line. So, remember that chaos that engulfed the land I mentioned a few sentences back? Well, shortly after the Kingdom of Hyrule was established, the first major chaotic event occurred. And that's when we get to the events of the Minish Cap.